The left stick dribbling is the ultimate skill gap. It's the difference between running into a wall of defenders and gliding through them like they're not even there. Today we're breaking down the mechanics, the timing, and the psychological mind games that will make you untouchable. For starters, we have to talk about how you're actually handling the controller. There are two methods to move the left analog stick. The first one is the drastic shift. This is when you snap the left stick from one direction to another. It will trigger the fastest possible turning animation. It's explosive and perfect for beating a defender who is sprinting and overcommitting towards one side of your player. You can also use this method safely when you're not being pressured at close distance and need to change the direction instantly. The downside is, it's an all-in move. Because the shift is so violent, the player momentarily pushes the ball further away from themselves and becomes vulnerable for a brief moment. If a defender anticipates, you're completely exposed to a tackle. In those cases, the second left stick method becomes super strong, which we call the gradual turn. This is where you roll the left stick in a U shape. If you're going at 6 o'clock and want to go to 3 o'clock, you slide your thumb along the top right curve. This makes it nearly impossible for you to be tackled because the ball never leaves your safe zone. It's slower compared to the drastic shift since it makes more frames to complete the rotation, because the player is taking multiple micro touches to turn rather than one big lunge. So the main strategy would be to use the gradual turning when defenders are closing down and you need to keep the ball protected. Once you have created enough space and the defender is slightly out of position, hit them with a drastic shift to explode into the open lane. For example, here when the opponent approaches my midfielder with two defenders, I know that I will hugely need to protect the ball against the pressure. That is why I think of a safe U-turn with the gradual turning and face away from the defenders. Slowly rotating the controller in that manner allows me to shield the ball away and create a passing option towards my striker. While the ball is traveling, I see that the opponent hasn't switched to his central defender yet, so I know as soon as he switches to the defender, he will try to jump in to win the ball. With a drastic shift towards the open side, I might easily get past him. That is the idea against late overcommitment. So right before the ball arrives at my feet, I point out the lower side with the left analog stick, and with this, dodge the incoming defender to set up the last step towards the goal. These left stick dribbling methods are one of the core elements of our individual coaching sessions, alongside many techniques we teach you in one-on-one sessions. If you want to learn the crucial techniques from elite division players and take your game to the next level, or even combine your private coaching with the biggest FC learning platform application, the Guide Plus, that offers you over 10 courses with 100 video tutorials, check the link in the description. Now, let's talk about the timing, because the movement in this game has a rhythm. You shouldn't be constantly holding a direction. The moment your player touches the ball, that is when the game registers your next move. With every single touch, you have a window to change the direction. To make an effective and successful turn, you need to have your stick input ready just a split second before that contact happens. Make sure you pay attention to your controller input just slightly before you touch the ball every single time. This is the exact moment to change it if you want to switch directions and remain in control. This control is strongly affected by the speed of your player. If you're holding onto the sprinting button, your player pushes the ball further away to gain speed, which will decrease your control over the left analog stick dribbling in tight positions, especially when you're trying to turn to another direction. By letting go of the sprinting button and using smaller inputs, your player takes more frequent micro touches, which should be your goal with the left analog stick dribbling. You can easily practice this in the arena. Small input right before the contact and the touch. Repeat this constantly and get a better feeling of the left stick dribbling right away. But how do you keep applying this under pressure? When a defender is breathing down your neck, your first instinct is probably to hold the sprint button or the shield button. Don't do that. Sprinting under pressure is a dead sentence because it pushes the ball further away from your feet, like we mentioned. Instead, try to turn your back on them by moving the left analog stick against their direction. Keep your player's hip between the defender and the ball. If the defender lunges, don't just run away. Move away from their momentum using this gradual turning that we talked about earlier. Let me show it to you with an example. As I'm getting pressured by the defender, I instantly need to turn my back against him to protect the ball. That is why I point out the left analog stick away from his challenge. But right before the next touch, I see his body momentum towards the left side, so I point out the left stick again towards the upper side and the open space away from him, and then try to dribble forward. But then he switches to another defender and runs at me with it. The gradual turning with the left analog stick twice here will allow me to rotate my players safely against them. As long as I stick to this concept, it becomes really overwhelming to defend, and this will open up free space for me. Exploring that side and stopping while keeping the ball safe with the gradual turning finally pays off, and I find myself in a 1 versus 1 against the keeper, which I unfortunately couldn't convert into a goal. One of the most effective tools in FC26 is the fake turn using the left analog stick. This isn't a skill move, it's a pure manipulation. While dribbling the ball slowly, you point the left stick in one direction for a split second to bait the defender, then immediately snap it in the opposite way. This triggers a specific exit animation where the player shifts their weight rapidly. It might get a faster effect than a normal skill move because your opponent will probably react to the first move that he sees, but while he's reacting to it, you will already be gone. It's a pure now you see me, now you don't mechanic. Here is a great example. As I receive the ball inside the box, my opponent simply jockeys to block the shooting chance, which is quite normal, and I need to fool him. By simply faking a gradual turn with my left analog stick towards the opposite side, I make him think that I will change the direction of the attack. But then I instantly point out the same direction with my left analog stick, turn back towards the same side while he's making his way away from me. Simple and very effective. This leads us into the long form mind games. Early in the game, use your fake turn always to do the same variation. Condition your opponent to believe that every time you stop, you're heading for the same option. Once they start pre-moving their defender to cover that inside lane, that is when the trap is set. Use the fake turn animation to start the move inside, but then immediately roll the stick back to the outside. Because you've spent the last 20 minutes conditioning them, their brain will force them to commit to the wrong lane, leaving you with a clear path towards the goal. If you like dribbling tips like this, I definitely recommend checking out our latest video that appears on your screen right now. My colleague George shows you a premium dribbling mechanic there. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until next time, take care and peace.